Greetings, Tom here, and I want to talk to you about something very, very serious, which is child abuse in the Catholic Church. And this can extend outside the Catholic Church, but very specifically as a Catholic, I need to talk about child abuse in the Catholic Church. And I'd like to start off by saying that the Catholic Church teaching is pro-life. In other words, all life is sacred from the moment of conception to the moment of death, right? So, and the reason the church teaches that is because within every body is a soul and a spirit. And the essence of a human being is to live beyond this earthly life. Okay? And it's the next life that is the most important life, is the next life in the sense that heaven or hell is a permanent place. Earth is a deciding place. It's a place of decision. And it's very important that everyone, every soul has the opportunity to decide whether they want to go to heaven or hell, basically. What do they want? Everyone has that choice and decision, and they have this earthly life to basically work it out. So many years have been allotted, and the ultimate decision that one must make is whether or not you are going to surrender your life to God, or whether you are going to hold on to your life. And everyone has a free will, and everyone has to make that choice. But when you abort, for example, that person never has a choice. Also, when children are abused, they're clearly affected in their ability to think straight, because it's a permanent blight. And if they're abused in the context of a Catholic community, whether it's a priest, a bishop, or a lay person in some type of Catholic activity, that could seriously influence somebody's ability to trust God, to trust Jesus, to trust Mary even. So the child abuse crisis in the Catholic Church is especially grievous because not only is a child's physical well-being hurt, but their emotional and spiritual well-being are also damaged and affected. Excuse me. So it has to be taken very seriously. And it's inconsistent with a pro-life message that you turn your back on child abuse. I recently spoke to a recognized pro-life leader in the Pittsburgh area, and I informed them that I was going to be letting the bishop know that we as pro-lifers do not support covering up child abuse. And we're also encouraging the bishops to increase their pro-life activity in fighting abortion. And he says, oh, you can't mix them. You can't mix child abuse and abortion. This is a pro-life leader, a guy who's been doing it for many, many years. You can't mix child abuse and abortion like there's a difference, right? No. The difference is that instead of an abortionist abusing a child with the consent of the mother and sometimes the father, it's a priest abusing the child. And sometimes it leads to death. There's been plenty of victims who have killed themselves because of the damage that was done. So this needs to be exposed, and I think that the pro-life movement needs to be called on it. And trust me, I've been at plenty abortion clinics, plenty, and been to many marches for life, etc. But there's something seriously wrong when your only focus is protecting unborn children who should be protected, but you're not interested in protecting, born children from sexual abuse. This is ridiculous. The message is, in essence, the same. Okay, so, and then you have people who are all against sexual abuse of children, but then they're for killing of children in the womb. That's equally as insane. Okay, these positions do not match. They do not work, they do not match. And so, no, you can't just, if someone says they're pro-life, you got to make sure they're also against covering up for pedophiles. Very, very important question. And if they're not, and if they're not willing to take a stand against pedophilia, I would question, how pro-life really they are. So anyway, we have a major problem, okay? I was involved in the Altoona-Johnstown diocese with turning in a number of priests who were engaged in online gay activities, okay? Online gay, active gay, homosexual activities. I had to turn them in to the bishop. This was back in 2003. Now, nothing ever happened, okay? At least publicly, nothing ever happened. These priests continued in their jobs, in their positions, in their functions. And it was just recently in Altoona, Johnstown that the Attorney General, Kathleen Kane, released a report of all the investigation, and there were so many children abused in that diocese, and there was so much cover-up. And it's so bad that the new bishop is actually taken down the banner of Bishop Adamek and Bishop Hogan, the two previous bishops, from the cathedral. These were banners of honor recognizing your previous bishops. They're gone. He's taken them down, which is the right thing to do. And he's encouraging anyone with any information to go directly to the Attorney General. So I've spoken to the Attorney General's office. The priests that I turned in, slipped through the cracks, but all their friends and associates are listed on the Attorney General report as being pedophiles. So the investigation is continuing. So anyway, I'm very closely aware. I worked in that diocese as a religion teacher, as a CCD teacher, as a director of religious education, as a youth minister in the midst of all this. I taught at Bishop McCourt, where Brother Baker was molesting guys left and right. Okay, so I'm a witness, and I'm a whistleblower. I reported them. Now, I also was approached by a priest myself when I was 18 years old at Trenton State College in New Jersey, where I was attending school. And the priest approached me, started rubbing my back and trying to, I guess, wanted to make out with me. But I broke off. I'm not gay. I had no interest in this type of activity. And but I didn't turn him in. I was 18. I was like, I'm never coming back here again. And I started to attend Protestant services and things like that. I didn't want anything to do with it. So later, that priest re-enters my life at Franciscan University of Steubenville, where my children are attending school. So I had to turn him in to the university. And of course, I guess they had needed time to look into it, whatever. 2 years later, the guy's gone. But 2 years later, the guy's gone. So I have no idea. I was never called, followed up, nothing. Okay, no idea why he's gone. what he did, nothing. Hush, 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 hush. Shh, don't talk about this type of thing. So, subsequent to that, uh, we have had an outbreak of pedophilia in Steubenville with Joel Wright, who was a seminarian who went through Franciscan University's religious program for people discerning the priesthood. And he was advertising to babysit people and pay them $150 to babysit their kids. That's how desperate this guy was. He was willing to pay parents $150 in Steubenville, very poor area, and looking for, vulnerable people so that he could have access to their children. And he was reported to the university, and they did nothing. As far as we know, he did nothing except recommend him to the Diocese of Steubenville for the priesthood. The Diocese of Steubenville takes the recommendation, takes the seminarian, and places him at the Josephinum in Columbus, Ohio, which is the name of the seminary. Well, before he enters the seminary, he takes a trip to Mexico to purchase a baby to bring back and have sex. And he arranged it via some type of Craigslist connection. Well, the guy ripped him off. He did not provide a baby, but he took the guy's money and whatever. So Joel Wright comes back empty-handed without a baby. Okay. So you think like, okay, dude, don't do it again. No, he did it again. He contacted and tried to get another tour guide to connect him with a baby in Mexico to buy, purchase, to have sex with, to rape, to videotape. All these are in emails that he exchanged when the tour guide turned him over to the authorities and Homeland Security took over. So he ends up on a weekend taking a flight. He leaves the seminary for the weekend, takes a flight to San Diego, and he's greeted by Homeland Security and arrested. And he's in jail right now. Okay, this guy was going to bring a baby back to Ohio and possibly Steubenville area. Okay, now, where was he going to bring a baby? He was heading back to the seminary. He didn't quit the seminary. No, he was bringing his baby back, and he had cash and a bottle. So where's he bringing the baby to? That's an important question. Where's he bringing the baby to? That's a huge question. And now we find out that Jason Rivers, a graduate of Franciscan University of Steubenville, master's degree in philosophy, teacher of homeschool Catholic children, connected to the University of Steubenville because it's their wives, the professors and the employees of the university who homeschool, their wives are running a school for homeschool kids. It's a school. There's tuition, there's a principal, there's a building where they go to twice a week, and they're under the radar because they call themselves homeschooling, right? They were meeting in the Catholic Church. They were meeting in the Catholic Church. And so anyway, this guy Jason Rivers has an affair. He's a married man, 5 kids, and he's teaching children self-defense, logic, So he ends up having an affair with an 18-year-old homeschooling girl who worked for him. Now, not only do they have an affair, right, but they both are interested in raping children. So as far as I know, at least 3 children that they had access to were raped and videotaped. They videotaped them raping these kids, and they kept the videotapes for their own sexual perversion. Okay, finally, the guy's caught and the girl's caught. They're both arrested. He pleads guilty so fast it's not even funny, and signs life in prison. Okay, doesn't even fight the charges. Doesn't fight the charge. She's pleading innocent by reason of insanity. The girl. Okay, so this is what's going on in Steubenville, Ohio. This great Catholic school where I graduated from, and where, you know, the EWTN has all these people from Steubenville on their program all the time, and nothing's being said. Do you understand? All the great leaders from Steubenville are silent. Well, they're not addressing this horrible, horrible tragedy of local children being raped by someone in their community who was very active in their community, and another graduate who they promoted to the priesthood, and they're being silent. Okay. Silent. Now, are they being silent about abortion? I don't think so. Are they being silent about child abuse? Yes, they are. So how pro-life really are they? And so many people are sending big bucks to that school, and what they're teaching is to remain silent when it comes to child abuse, and to, in essence, cover up. There were 3 TOR Franciscans who were arrested in light of the Altoona Johnstown scandal, because they covered up for brother Stephen Baker, who molested hundreds of kids. He was out of control. He killed himself before he went to trial and left a note that he was sorry. So these guys knew he was a problem, and they continued to let him around children. And I am so sad to say, took a group of kids to this guy for a retreat at the order of my boss, Father Resch, who told me, in essence, to take these kids to a retreat with Father Baker. I mean, Brother Baker. Okay, so I'm sick over that. Now, the TORs are teaching at Franciscan University of Steubenville. And throughout this whole entire pedophilia scandal, okay, there's been silence at Franciscan University of Steubenville. You know, and someone even told me that they were offering classes to attorneys how to defend priests against allegations. Okay. So this is what they have contributed, this wonderful pro-life college, to the horrible pedophilia plague that has affected the Catholic Church. So it's all there. It's all there. You can find everything that I'm saying. You can find it out. It's all there. Yet people still want to, you know, pretend like everything's okay. And, you know, it's not. It's not okay. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. These types of things only get worse. They don't get better. They get worse. Because you find out there's more victims. What you have to understand is the pedophiles can't control themselves. Okay, if they're willing to rape their own children, they cannot control themselves. This is a sickness that is uncontrollable. That's why they're known as predators. Okay, because once that thing kicks in, man, watch out if you're anywhere near them, you know. So the people, unfortunately, there's many good people in Steubenville who have no clue. They have no clue. They're allowing their children to be taught and exposed to pedophiles because they're too trusting. They have swallowed, the propaganda that says that Franciscan University is the top Catholic university. It's the only university left that's faithful to the Pope and Orthodox. And if you want the true Catholic faith, you got to go to Franciscan University of Steubenville. They've bought into that. They believe it. They believe it, yet there's so many victims, people who have left that university needing counseling, years and years of counseling. Okay? So anyway, does that mean there's nothing good going on? No. It doesn't mean there's nothing good going on. And I've never said that there's nothing good going on. I'm not worried about the good that's going on. I'm worried about the evil that's going on. That's what I'm concerned about. So that's why I speak up, and that's why I let people know that this is unacceptable, that this is completely offensive to parents, and most of all to Jesus and to Mary, whom they claim to represent, and to St. Francis. He would never, ever, ever tolerate this abuse of children. I can guarantee that. So what do? Well, Catholics have got to educate themselves to what pedophilia really is, because they're clueless. And there are many people who say, "Oh, it's a gay problem." Well, you know what? This man, Jason Rivers, was a heterosexual man, and he was raping girls. Okay? And I know that upsets a lot of people. I know it upsets a lot of people because in their mind, a pedophile is a homosexual, and the professionals have tried to clarify that and saying, no, it's not true. So the Steubenville, and I believe Joel Wright, the seminarian, was going for a baby girl too. So you got to let that go. Okay, homosexuality is not automatically connected to pedophilia. It's not. There are plenty of homosexuals who have never, ever, for a second, ever dreamed of or imagined sexually abusing a minor. Okay? So there are heterosexual pedophiles and there are homosexual pedophiles. Okay? It's the interest in children that is really the sick part of this equation here. Okay, and so I'm asking everyone in Steubenville any information they have regarding Jason Rivers, Joel Wright, or the young lady, and children, and what children they've been around, and what they know. And I'm talking about young people too, teenagers. If you know anything, you've got to I would say, go to the sheriff in Steubenville with the information. Okay, I would go to the sheriff in Steubenville, or there's an attorney, Tom Wilson, from the diocese. But the only way you can be sure, unfortunately, that your information will be taken seriously is you have got to call Sheriff Abdallah in Steubenville. Okay, he's so sick. He's very, very sick over all of this that's going on. It's very, very upsetting. So anyway, educate yourself. Don't call yourself pro-life. Don't call yourself Marian if you're not willing to protect and defend children from sexual abuse at the hands of trusted Catholic leaders, priests, bishops, or lay people, teachers, youth ministers, you know, and pray, of course. You know, we have to pray, but we got to fight this. This is the work of the devil. This is the work of demonic spirits. Because once that enters into the equation, trust me, if the devil can get you to compromise on child abuse, your witness is really, it's horrible. And everything that you say is going to be looked at with suspicion and questioning. And that goes for all of these great theologians at Franciscan who make tons of money telling people about the Catholic Church, yet they're silent when it comes to the sexual abuse that has taken place. So, you know, you draw your own conclusions there. All I'm saying is we need to look in a different direction until Steubenville cleans up their mess. It's lukewarm, it's compromised. There's never going to be this great outpouring. It's not going to happen because the Blessed Mother will not ignore covering up sexual abuse. She's just not going to do it. She can't. Thank you.